new Pokémon Snap. The original concept of photographing Pokémon in the wild was one met with much enthusiasm over 20 years ago when the original game came out on the Nintendo 64. It was the third video game I ever owned, and although I loved the time I spent with it, I wouldn't say I hold it in a particularly special place. Even so, many have longed for a sequel to such a unique game, and after 7 more Pokémon generations, we finally have a title that revisits this concept to the full extent. I'll admit that when I first saw a trailer for new Pokémon Snap, I wasn't dazzled, and had a pretty skeptical outlook on it, worrying it would be a half-hearted game thrown out while riding the coattails of its predecessor. Now, after capturing every Pokémon in the game on film, I'm happy to say I was wrong, and am very surprised at how impressed I am with it. It's not all positives, of course, as there are some issues I have with certain game design choices. In this video, I'm going to lay out what I found to be the best and the worst aspects of this game. Be warned that full spoilers for new Pokémon Snap are on the table. The best. Number 1, beautiful visuals. New Pokémon Snap looks gorgeous. In fact, it might be the best looking Pokémon game I've played. These environments are so colorful and lively, which is pretty important considering you're going to be looking at them so much. It's not hard to get great looking shots when the landscapes are crafted with so much care. There's a lot of work put into ensuring these places feel alive. Every scene is lit perfectly. Beaches are sunny with beautiful waves, jungles are vivid with foliage all around you, and ice caverns feel freezing just by their appearance. There's a tremendous amount of variety in themes, with every level feeling special and providing an authentic habitat for Pokémon. And speaking of the Pokémon, they look exceptional. Every one of their designs is vibrant, clean, and feels completely natural in its surroundings, with dynamic shading lending a lot to their presence. The Illumina Pokémon courses are all very well done, bringing you to incredibly eye-catching locales, with some of the most graceful and intensely portrayed Pokémon in the game. The menus, photo decks, and course maps have a fantastic presentation as well. For a game about photography, they absolutely nailed the aesthetics. Number 2, living, breathing Pokémon. One of the best things about Pokémon is how much thought is put into their designs. The way they live, things they do, and unique characteristics for everyone is inspired, and there's nothing like being able to see these creatures existing. This game provides so many opportunities to see tons of cool interactions of fan-favorite Pokémon from all 8 generations. Granted, Generation 8 did draw the short end of the stick on representation, but there's still a ton of wonderful creatures from all throughout Pokémon's history to see, with energetic, marvelous animations showing them using attacks, fighting with other Pokémon, and all sorts of crazy behaviors. Many interesting choices are highlights of the bigger moments, and I couldn't tell you how shocked I am that not a single Illumina Pokémon is from Generation 1. Oh god, this is gonna be Charizard. Volcarona? Hell yeah! I also couldn't be happier that, outside of Pikachu, all the Pokémon make animal noises, which really sells them as creatures. For the most part, the sounds they make are perfect, but there are 1 or 2 who sound a little strange. In any case, I absolutely loved going through each level and seeing Pokémon in their natural environments doing all sorts of things, and they've never felt more alive. Number 3, photography. Your mileage may vary in terms of how rewarding you'll find taking pictures, and I'm no photographer, but I absolutely love doing it in this game. Many scenarios are created so that it's not too hard to get some really sweet shots, but there are still special moments that require utilizing your tools to bring out some of the best ones. There are also plenty of options for controls, pointer sensitivity, and even a burst photo mode you unlock in post-game, letting you do things your own way, and it's great to have so many options. Photo evaluation is snappy, and it's easy to gauge how well a photo will be judged by the criteria. I love the feeling of replacing an old, cruddy shot with beautiful crystal stars. The 4-star system put in place means every Pokémon has 4 photos of each star level to be graded, which leads me to number 4, replayability. Every Pokémon now having 4 different categories for pictures is an ingenious idea to dramatically increase the motivation to continue snapping photos of Pokémon you've already captured. The original game had the problem of there really no longer being an incentive to bother with a Pokémon once you've gotten a good shot of it, but this new system, which grades a photo based on how rare the behavior of the Pokémon in the shot is, means every one of them will be worth capturing throughout the whole game. It's also really fun to essentially be putting together portfolios of individual Pokémon. Courses have a lot of hidden routes and interactions that ensure you'll almost always find something new upon replaying them. Stages have levels of variation you can select, which change the layout and presence of Pokémon throughout the stage, dramatically increasing the discovery when revisiting the same location. The simplistic yet addictive photo editing is also a fantastic pair to this game, and it's satisfying to load your profile up with your favorite shots. Photo requests also exist, which hint at interesting moments you can catch on camera, often rewarding the player with more editing tools. One of the largest problems with the original Pokémon Snap is how limited the overall experience is, and new Pokémon Snap has implemented a bunch of thoughtful things to vastly increase how much you can do. Number 5. Magical Secrets. It's no surprise I love secrets in games, but rarely have I found them to be presented in such a magical and fulfilling way as they are in new Pokémon Snap. The surprising amount of actions Pokémon portray, hidden paths that involve inspired thinking to find, and legendary encounters that truly feel special contribute to a strong feeling of childlike wonder that resonates throughout the whole experience. The developers, Bandai Namco, clearly wanted to instill the sense of discovery and mystery that was present in the original, and they did a phenomenal job replicating that feeling. Even after going down multiple paths and finding a bunch of new Pokémon, you'll still be coming across new findings in levels you visited over a dozen times, and I love how packed these all are. Those are all the big things, but it's worth mentioning that this game has really quick loading times, which is always a nice thing. New Pokémon Snap does so many things in an effective and rewarding way, and although I don't have big complaints about the game, there's certainly some things that need to be acknowledged. The worst. Number 1, cause and effect. The idea of using your different tools to encourage Pokémon behavior is a really good one, but the trial and error nature of its design makes many instances feel a little too random. If you want a Pokémon to do a certain thing or interact with something in a specific way, it can take a long time to find the precise activity the game wants you to perform. A particularly notable example is in the snowfields, where you need to remove a wall of snow in order to open up a secret path. Once you know you need to find a way past it, the possibilities for opening it up are simply too numerous to feel like any kind of puzzle. The solution to this instance in particular is actually to take a picture of Alolan Sandslash each time he appears in brief instances. And that opens the path. While it's great to finally get it open, it's just so random and cryptic that it feels more like you stumbled into the solution as opposed to figured anything out. Basically, when you want a Pokemon to do a specific thing, or you're trying to find a way onto a new path, half the time the sensical approach will get you what you want, but the other half you just have to kind of try everything on everything. It's fairly unintuitive. There's an inconsistency to how your tools affect Pokemon, and it hurts the cause and effect puzzle aspect of the game, as influences are far more subtle and vague than the original, which was much more straightforward in its conveyance. Requests can be particularly frustrating when so many of them want you to follow a very strict step-by-step in order to make the right results happen, and it could take ages to figure out a lot of the smaller things necessary to produce results. Like trying to snap a picture of Chandelure dancing. You can't just play the music and snap it dancing, that doesn't count. You first have to feed it, then throw an Illumina orb at it, and then play the music, and it'll do a different dance. You can drive yourself crazy if you try to figure out a lot of these on your own. I like the discovery factor in this game of finally achieving what you want, but it would feel more rewarding if you were more confident in what your actions would cause. Number 2, unnecessary inconveniences. This game has a few specific inconveniences that feel pretty unnecessary, likely with the aim of increasing playtime and simplicity. The most notable is only being allowed to submit one photo of a Pokemon at a time, even when you have multiple picks for different star categories. It can be frustrating to have to give up on a good picture when you have multiple of different ranks, and it's an arbitrary restriction. Requests also have some issues, only becoming active once you've completed a course or taken a Pokemon's photo, but sometimes you'll already have taken a picture that can fulfill said request, only to have to do it again because it wasn't active yet. Photos that fulfill requests also have to be the one chosen in evaluation, otherwise they won't be completed, and they're not always identified correctly either. Ideally, taking a request completing photo at any time would ensure their completion, regardless of whether it's active or if you've submitted it. The last issue is after the professor has finished his evaluation, an experience bar will come up for that course to show its level of progression. But this moment never stops appearing after it's maxed, which is an annoying waste of time when you're eager to jump into another stage. And the long moment showing your course record draws it out further. The expedition level just serves no function at that point, and it almost feels like an oversight that it still pops up. The worst part of all is you have to sit through all of this even if you quit the course prematurely without even taking any photos. This could all be sped up and a lot more convenient. Number 3, photo analysis. Getting photos evaluated is generally a fun and satisfying procedure, but the rigidity of how pictures are judged prevent much in the way of artistic vision or variety. A good scoring pick has the Pokémon large, in the center of the frame, facing forward, and maybe some other Pokémon in the background. This game does a great job of serving these photos to the player often, and they easily look great, but unfortunately if you try taking pictures in any other kind of way, the game is not going to appreciate it. It's pretty easy for a poorly taken photo to get a higher score than another simply because it hits some of these superficial criteria better. It's not a perfect system, and I'm not surprised that it's this shallow, but it definitely needs to be acknowledged that going for any kind of inspired aesthetic arrangement will almost always lose out to a giant Pokémon body in your face. I kind of like the focus on capturing an individual Pokémon as best as possible, but long-distance group shots are pretty worthless now because of how poorly they're evaluated. I also don't know why the shots look so awful when you're choosing them for the professor. They're pixelated and blurry, but not at any other time when they're shown. There's one more irritation to the photo taking that gets its own. Number 4, Joltik? Where? I'm not sure why this is the way it is, but for some reason, if you go to take pictures in rapid succession of multiple different Pokémon, the first one that's analyzed will be the one all of the other Pokémon photographed or categorized under. If you wait for a moment after moving the pointer to a new Pokémon, it'll register as taking shots of them, but the time that can take can easily cost you your shot when you're trying to take multiple photos quickly. I can only assume it's implemented this way, so that if you want to take a picture of a Pokémon but are moving the camera around a bit, it's sure to identify it as the picture of them, but I've had way too many instances of photos being under the wrong category because of this. This is a picture of Joltik? Where? Show me Joltik. Wow, look at that shot. What a huge, shimmering, beautiful picture of Trevenant. This can also create some problems for requests, like this shot of Pidgeot, which didn't complete it because it wanted the subject matter to be Magikarp. There are a lot of examples like this, and it's a shame to accidentally run your pointer over a discrete Pokémon in a shot, only to realize you didn't get any of what you were gunning for. These inaccuracies can be really egregious too. Number 5, a series of small things. I don't really pay attention to frame rates, and they have to be pretty bad to get in the way of my experience, but there are a few times here when things will start to chug. The most notable instance being when Wailord comes out of the ocean. It doesn't take much away from the game overall, but it'd be nice if it was smoother. The characters and story get the job done for what it is, but it's a little unnecessarily chatty considering how basic and conventional they all are. When they started talking about a meteorite that almost destroyed the world, I was scared they were going to force some kind of crisis plot into the game. Thank God we didn't go down that route. Todd looks pretty cool though. I know Pokemon is generally marketed towards younger players, but I wish I could be him, or an adult, and not this silent, soulless child. This menu didn't work a few times, so that's weird. The game crashed once or twice too, whenever I was trying to award good picks online, so watch out for that. At least it autosaves constantly. Lobbing the balls can also be a little frustrating, but I guess that's kind of the challenge. Last complaint is the name. New Pokemon Snap? It's grown on me, I'll admit, but couldn't you have named it, I don't know, anything more interesting? It's not always gonna be new, you know. But really, that's it. This is a magical, joyful experience with tons of relaxing and engaging things to do. I prefer it in almost every way to the original game, but something needs to be stressed. To enjoy this game, it is essential that you approach it with patience and because you want to take pictures of Pokemon in a natural world. Trying to play this as a game to beat will probably leave you pretty disappointed. Allow the game to absorb you into the world it wants to show you. If you love Pokemon and want to see them coexist together, I absolutely recommend this game. I hope it gets DLC in the future, and I think the way it's designed is very suited to more content. Also, Golisopod is in the game. 10 out of 10. As always, thank you for watching. If you liked my video, subscribe, and I will see you next time.